Have you ever dreamed of living in a work of art? Les Colombieres in Menton Garavan was created by the caricaturist and writer Ferdinand Bac. In 1920, Émile Ladin Bokhari and his wife bought the domain de Colombier on Bac's recommendation, and they invited him to live there whilst he rebuilt and enlarged the villa. Bac decorated the villa with frescoes inspired by his belief that the Mediterranean is the home of Western civilization.
You can't live in this house if you do not love the Mediterranean. Everything about it reminds you of it. There are bits of Pompeii, there are bits of Turkey, there are bits of mythology. There's a lot of mythology. For example, there is a whole series of paintings of the Odyssey. And what you just get the impression is of a man with a marvelous imagination who loves the Mediterranean and who just gets inspired to do things in its spirit at all times.
The property to me represents a soul of an artist that had tried to express the French Riviera the way it was at the beginning of the century.
The Ladin Bokharis and Bac lived in the villa until 1939, and during World War II it was used as a rest home for wounded Italian officers. After the war, it was taken over by Ladin Bokhari's son, who ran a bed and breakfast and tea room on the premises. In 1991, the house and garden were classified as a national monument, and the heirs decided to sell the now run-down property. It was acquired by the now retired retail entrepreneur Michael Likierman, who with his wife Margaret have lovingly restored Les Colombieres.
You can't do anything to a historic monument. You have to do it with their approval. You have to do it in the rules of the art. You have to do things well. But at the same time, you have this beautiful place, every surface covered with frescoes to be restored, but all sorts of modern conveniences not there at all. So we had a long negotiation with the historic monuments to be able to do what had to be done while at the same time preserving the spirit of the house.
Ferdinand Bac, a grandnephew of Emperor Napoleon, became a fashionable caricaturist in Paris in the late 19th century, often depicting risque themes. Bac was over 50 when he discovered his vocation as a garden designer in 1912, and it was Margaret Likierman's love of gardens that brought her and husband Michael to purchase the property over 15 years ago.
He was really brilliant at laying out a garden on this very, very difficult site. It was a quarry on top and a road and then an olive grove, and he made a garden which is very theatrical, a joy to walk round and really a pleasure to be in, many places to sit down and enjoy a quiet moment in the shade.
The 800 square metre villa in 3.5 hectares of gardens was originally listed at €22 million, but selling a monument has proved to be challenging. So now, Cote Sotheby's International Realty have launched a closed auction with the owners obliged to sell at a fixed minimum bid.
The minimum bid is 9.9 million, and the clients have time until November to send their propositions. For me, it's something unique, but it's also something that is best suitable to a lover of art, not only to somebody who is looking for a comfortable house, but also somebody who will appreciate to live with the frescoes, who will appreciate to live with the garden the way it is today. Because the building is a monument, it's a historic monument, so we cannot change many things.
It's not a static monument, that's the thing about it. It's a monument to be lived in. What we've done is to make it live again in a way that it can be lived in. Perhaps it's the fact that we've added proper modern conveniences so that it is actually a house you can very easily live in at all times in all the year. We've tried to make it the essential house, the essential garden, so that you get it right, not over-cluttered, not overdone, but just in the spirit of the